such a privilege to be here and to think about what freedom means. I'm not gonna lie, Juneteenth does bring up like a lot of emotions for me. I think it's like a very weighty commemoration of the things, especially that Black Texans went through. Last to learn about freedom, but also even beyond. Black incarcerated folks, people who were victims of kidnapping, people across these United States who didn't know that they were free. And even beyond that, the kind of repair that we're trying to do afterwards. And so I come from a very kind of like nerdy ecological background. I do like environmental stuff. And so a lot of my poetry deals with like issues of environment and freedom. And so this first piece is called "The Difference Between a Song and a Siren is One of Patience." After the sun clocks out from its daily shift, the American bullfrog prepares its nightly solo. What it does to air, man does to a baby grand as it webs an unforgettable arpeggio across the starlit pond. My father tosses and turns in his sleep, too familiar with this summer concerto disrupting his rest. Another workday of squashing his song. This arrogant display reminds him of the melodies compelled to the dark cavern of his throat. After flight, he labored for this silence, dodging persecution's din, until all that remained was the drone of his own neurons firing. I am a descendant of retired noisemakers, of clamorous studies, bewitched by the kind of melody that emerges from fracture. Like bullfrogs, I echo apocalypse, my vernacular instinctual. The American bullfrog was introduced to California in the 1850s to feed gold miners after they had eaten the native red-legged frog to near extinction. After is a modifier. I say I am an after, and history unfolds in the tight space behind my diaphragm. The wildest thing a body knows how to do is adapt. It builds muscle around trauma, grows wisdom from what lingers, acceptance over submission. After the bullfrog was let loose in the West, it outcompeted nearly every other species of frog in that region. And I wonder if luck is just a placeholder for birthright, if survival is strummed through the songs we sing in praise of our residue. No one asks bullfrogs if they miss their softness pre-rupture, if somewhere between memory and mourning they are calling each other homeward. My mother watches from the couch as her child plays the introduction to Lift Every Voice and Sing for the 2011th time. She says, "Play it again," and my fingers ache with obligation. This is an inheritance worth callousing for. This refrain, a blood impulse. Hunger led the bullfrog past extinction. Gospel feeds the soul one delicious note at a time. Look at what instinct does. My own body swelling with wild calls meant to dissipate among nature's symphony. After surviving, the bullfrog endures lust after life, despite all that is denied its glory. Even when we close our eyes, summertime reverberates with their gloating baritone. So I have one more original poem. This one is actually from my debut collection, Heirloom. And it starts with a quote from Fannie Lou Hamer. And if you don't know who that is, I suggest that you look it up. I keep a shotgun in every corner of my bedroom, and the first cracker even looks like he wants to throw some dynamite on my porch, won't write his mama again. I keep a piece of myself on the porch. Don't test me. I've had everything ripped from my flesh and still fix my gums to smile at those who wish me harm. Don't try it. I am a nigga who comes from niggas, and as such, I do not play. This body owns nothing, exists everywhere. You can't kill me. All the fullness in the world collides within my frame. A grand unraveling weathers me mighty vengeful. Can you say the same? My love shatters anything that has tried to cause me harm. Ceremony predates survival, so leave my flowers at the doorstep and dance until your heart bursts into 1,000 new iterations of godliness. Fill my cup with lilac wine, where one can pull a Nina croon through the window until a swan song of rage fills the walls and covers me in honeysuckle rose. Give me all that I desire or nothing at all. I want a new wig. I want a plot of land. I want a small wind that carries me through the rest of forever. I'm at least owed that. All right. not an original poem, but it is by a fave of mine, Cornelius Eady, and it's after Mahogany L. Brown's On Meditation. It's called I'm Here Because Somebody Survived. Which means, sometimes, you disarm the goon by acting the fool. What they want is your throat cut, or your heart broken by a dumb bullet, or your eyes filling with the void. So they leave with their cartoon of you in their heads. The instant they turn, the flood water stopping just before the top step, the hawk grasping feathers instead of flesh, all the small stuff, your sweat beating off your skin, your breath slowing back from flight to human. You've won it. You can pass it on. Thank you.